here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have another fantastic, incredible, tremendous, and stupendous show lined up for you tonight because the one and only Clara Capano is in the green room and ready to come forth and give you some incredible value from her experience, from her tips, from her success in business. This is the Mind, Body, Business Show where I interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. And I am so excited to be able to share the brilliance and wisdom of Clara Capano with you here tonight. She's coming on in just a moment. I see her down there in the green room, and she's in there scratching her monitor saying, "Brian, let me in. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this." I said, okay, just a moment. We got a little bit of intro to go through quick, and then we'll bring you on. The amazing Clara is coming on. I can't wait. Mind, Body, Business is all about what I call the 3 pillars of success. And these came about due to my 10 years or so of focusing on and literally looking with a fine-tooth comb at people who had achieved success at a higher level than I had. What made them more successful? And I just focused on that, on successful people. Unsuccessful, I didn't want to deal with that for quite some time because I wanted to move forward. It's also good to know what not to do, but I wanted to focus 100% on successful people. And what I learned over this, we're talking about people I know personally, like mentors of mine. We're talking about authors of books. I've met several who are very, very famous authors. There are other authors who were gone before I was born. There are other authors that are no longer here and that passed before I would ever have a chance to meet them. And so lots and lots of successful people that I've looked at and learned from over the years. And what I found were 3 things kept bubbling to the top as far as commonality between them all. And that was the very namesake of this show. So mind really means mindset. And what I found in these very successful people is that to a person, they had developed a very positive, a very powerful, and really the most important aspect of all is a flexible mindset. And then body literally reflects the fact that they took care and still do take care of themselves physically and through nutrition. Literally what it says, body. And then business is very multifaceted in that these individuals had mastered the various skill sets that are required for one to have a successful, thriving business and then be able to scale it from wherever you are today to even grow it even farther. And these three parameters, if you will, were present in all of these successful individuals. So that's where the name Mind, Body, Business Show came from. And by the way, it's actually based on a book I just released. It's called Mind, Body, Business, Go Figure. This book I started over 10 years ago, just released it. And I'm actually glad it took that long because of the experience and knowledge I gained over that decade. I was able to pour it into the book as I wrote it. And so this book, the idea of it and the penning of the words started well before this show ever came to be. This show is about 5+ years old. And this book is, like I said, over 10 years in the making. So that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't wait for you to get a hold of that book. I can't wait for you more to listen to Clara Capano when she comes on, which is going to be in just a moment. And speaking of books, one of the other fantastic qualities of very successful people is I can't tell you of one that doesn't do this, is that they are avid readers of books, and not just any books. And to illustrate that a little further, we're going to segue into a little segment that I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by ReachYourPeakLibrary.com.
There you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Quick word of advice, if I may. I know it's unsolicited, but if I may give you a quick word of advice, and that is you are going to be hearing about several resources on this show, like URLs, book titles, all kinds of wonderful things, because Clara has a wealth of knowledge. She's an author of 3 books, has a fantastic, thriving business. And so as those are being mentioned, what I implore upon you to do is, rather than succumb to that itch of going and researching while you're either watching or listening to the show, rather than do that, take out one of those old-fashioned writing instruments, you know what they're called, pen, pencil, and write down the resources as you hear them. And then once the show is over, then and only then, go and check out and study all these resources. Why do I ask that? Why do I advise that? That is because in my years of speaking from stage, especially the early years when I didn't know everything about it. I still don't, but I didn't know a lot, hardly any. I would notice people would get up and walk out right when I'm getting to the juicy part. You know, they either had to go to the restroom or they had that all important text message on their phone they had to go take care of. And I realized, oh my gosh, they're going to miss out on potentially the one thing that could change their life forever. And that's what I really want to avoid for you when Clara is speaking, is that I don't want you to be having your focus somewhere else when she's giving off that one nugget that could be that one that you needed to catapult your business to the next level. So please, for yourself, not for me, not for Clara, for yourself, take notes and keep your focus on the show. And by the way, if you're not watching live, you can go to themindbodybusinessshow.com, click on any of the buttons you see there that say where and how to watch, register, and then you will receive a notification the moment we go live with a link to go directly to it. You can watch us here live and be part of the fun and engage. And one lucky viewer who's watching live will win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of Reach Your Peak. And you do not want to miss that. That is an amazing thing. But you must be here watching live and stay to the end of the show to qualify to win. All right. So Reach Your Peak Library is simply a compilation of books that I had assembled over several years. Now, here's the thing. I was not myself an avid reader till about 13 years ago, almost 13 years ago, at the age of 47. And I'm pausing on purpose so you can do the math. Everyone wants to know. Yes, very soon I will be the big 6-0 at the end of this month, actually. I'm actually proud of that. It's going to be awesome. Excuse me. This is a list of books that I have personally read. And I did not start reading till about 13 years ago. And this doesn't hold every book that should be in here yet. I need to update it. However, that being said, these are books that had either a profound impact on my professional life or my personal life, or both. It's usually both. And so these are powerful, powerful books. And the reason I put them in here is like, wow, that one really was great. I want to put it on one place where people can go and have a great potential of reading a book that won't waste their time. I can't guarantee it'll have the same impact it did on me or on you as it did on me. I just can't guarantee it, but the odds are much better. If someone else read a book that is an entrepreneur that found something of great value, then most likely you will too. So this will greatly reduce your sifting and sorting time. So it's literally a gift of mine to you. These are buttons that go to Amazon. There's really not a whole lot of money to be made with this. And it's not here for making money. That being said, if you find that you like to get your books at a physical bookstore, Barnes & Noble or wherever else, just go get them. Find them here, see the title you want, then go get them where your favorite place is to grab books. Again, this is not here for making money. Here's my gift to you to say, these books, they are life-changing. I kid you not. When I finally realized I should be reading and I finally started doing that, my life changed for the better in ways I can't even describe. Speaking of changing your life for better, it's time to bring on the lovely, the one, the only Clara Capano right now. Let's bring her on. Yep.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one,
the drum roll going. I love it.
No.
Thank you for having me, Brian. And I love your book list. I have to say, as you were going through those, I have read probably about 90% of them myself. And I agree completely. Life-changing.
Yeah, and a little birdie told me, maybe let's just go straight for it. That you just published a brand new book. Let's take a quick look at that, if you don't mind. I'm going to bring you up front and center so
Perfect.
people can
There
see
we
that. Look at that, the
go.
mother of all success manuals. What a great title! How to
It
control
is.
your days. What was the
Yeah.
bottom part?
Oh, it's how to control your days, lose the guilt, and find harmony between work and life.
Woo, Clara
So
Capano.
it
Yes.
is sort of my story on how I made it all work from from complete burnout as a single mom to taking control back and, learning how to make it all work and have success on my terms. And I just want to be able to share that with so many other moms, parents in general, and just, realize that there is a way to make it all work.
And that's great news for every mom out there that's going through that. And I can almost guarantee you, if you're a mom and you're trying to also build your own thriving business, that is, I'll guarantee every one of them is going through a lot of the things you are going through. You figured it out. So what a great resource for them to be able to go to say, hey, she's figured it out. Let me get the shortcut, the magic button, and just go buy her book and then figure it out from there. So
exactly. And yes,
kudos
and
to you.
everybody can also know that when my passion project is the fight against human trafficking. So for all of my books, I donate proceeds back to fight against human trafficking. So that not only can they get a great book with some great strategies, they're also giving to a wonderful cause.
The mother of all success manuals, ladies and gentlemen, or go to Amazon and just search for Clara Capano, because she has 2 other titles in there, and she's donating proceeds to a good cause. So this is great. And we have some jealousy going on. Colleen Greco says, Clara is the bomb, and she was my friend first. She was my friend first, Brian. Don't take her from me.
I know. I love you, Colleen.
I'm sure there are many out there that feel the same way about you, Clara. I could tell, I've only met you, 30 minutes ago, and you can tell about certain people if they have that it factor. You have it and more. And that's, that means energy. You are a positive minded individual. You are successful. You are driven. You're all the key components a successful entrepreneur needs. And those things you can kind of dial those in and hone in and realize who they are. Someone you're talking to for the first time in a matter of the first 5 minutes easily.
Absolutely. And I will say, wasn't always this way. And, so again, it's a matter of getting clear on what it was that I wanted and who it was I needed to become. And I will say the biggest thing is doing what you love. When you realize that you're in the right area and you are focusing not on yourself, but on the value that you're giving to others, it feels so good. And, you can be unstoppable with that.
That's our show for today. That was every golden nugget. Man, that's a mic drop moment if ever. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, no kidding. I sincerely hope that everyone watching or listening to the show wrote down notes of everything Clara just said. So absolutely on point and true. And my gosh, that was like, you
start out by saying, driven and all those. And I've always been driven, but it never connected. And I felt like I was driven because I had to be. And I was almost driven because I had an emptiness inside of me. And it wasn't really until I got into my alignment, which really happened in my 40s. I'm, almost 53 now. And it all started to come together. And it's funny. I was talking with my sister yesterday. I just came out of a 3-day training facilitation, and the comments from people were, oh, you're a breath of fresh air. You are so inspiring. You're so energized. Those were things that I never saw myself. And I never in a million years as a teenager would have thought anybody would have described me that way. And it's so wonderful. And, when they say, do what you love and you'll never work another day, it's weird to say, but it's so true.
My God, I swear, Clara, as you talk, I hear my own voice talking. We're so in alignment that way with everything you just said. So wait a minute. Were we like separated at birth?
We might be.
Or are you simply my sister by
I'm
another
probably your little bit younger sister.
That's true. I did age myself earlier, and I don't want to bring you to my age that quick.
I'm not ready. I'm loving my 50s. I'm not quite ready to go to the next one yet.
I still am. I still have time. I'm in my 50s. Yes. Hanging on by a thread. But, I look at it as every year is a victory. I don't look at it as, oh my God, I'm getting old.
I love it.
Look at what's the percentage of people that have made it this far? Not a lot.
Not a lot. And I feel like I'm just getting started. My son is now 19. I'm an empty nester. And I feel just so much renewed energy. And I'm like, let's go into this next chapter and let's blow the roof off it.
I mean, especially as a mom, I cannot imagine the sense of liberation that went through you as that. I mean, there's sadness, deep sadness at the moment of empty nesting. But well, it depends.
Well, yeah. Maybe not so much.
It depends.
I'm not that kind of mom.
Get out.
Yeah. No, it was funny. I always tell the story. I lived in Colorado for 30 years, and so I always knew when he graduated that I would be leaving Colorado, just my calling. And we started the countdown of when I would be leaving at 4,000 days. And I remember him asking me, so are you leaving on the day of graduation? I'm like, depends what time graduation is. But he was invited to come with me. He decided to stay in Colorado. And we talk
awesome.
probably 5 times a day. So he's still mama's little boy.
I love it. I love it. We have a lot of parallel things going on in our lives, Clara. This is pretty awesome. It's like, yeah, this makes my job so much easier. So thank you for being my sister.
Yeah,
I never knew I had. All right, I want to give you the introduction you deserve because I want people to understand your background, where you come from, what you bring to the table, and this is just a high-level view summary, and then we'll get into the details of what you're doing today, how your business is going, what tips and things you can give people to help them with their success. Would that be cool?
I think that sounds fantastic. Let's do it.
Clara is an international speaker, award-winning educator, best-selling author, and host of Women Winning Their Way to Be Productive. She is the founder and CHO, this is a good one, Chief Harmony Officer of Capano Speaking and Training, and the creator of the CLARATY Success Method. Now, CLARATY, spelled CLARATY. I love this. CLARATY Success Method. With over 20 years in sales and leadership, her passion is in providing women in business work with key strategies so they can work with more intention and put themselves back in the driver's seat of their life so they can create harmony between their personal and professional lives. Let Clara help you find clarity and help you create success on your terms, free from guilt, overwhelm, and burnout. Oh, that's powerful because every one of us, male or female, have gone through all of those: guilt, overwhelm, and burnout. I know me as a former corporate guy, I'd be guilty of the fact that I work a job all day long and then I go to what I truly love to do, entrepreneurship, and I'm like, that time is being spent away from family. Guilt. And it's going to overwhelm and burnout and everything you just said in your bio. So my gosh, I don't think there's a thing you and I don't share yet. This is pretty awesome.
Isn't it great?
It is. So to open it up, I like to talk a little bit, or I like you to talk about mindset, and in the way that, when you get up in the morning, being an entrepreneur, you know how it is being an entrepreneur, right, Clara? It's just so easy.
Totally easy. All we do is drink coffee and go to lunch, and the money just rolls on in.
Yeah, it does it. I mean, I'm in my hammock swinging back and forth with that umbrella drink, and the money just cha-ching, cha-ching. It's
at least
unbelievable.
2 or 3 times a day, I'm just rolling around in bed and all the $100 bills that are there. Yeah.
So yes, of course we are jesting. And so one of the key factors of being an entrepreneur is, almost the definition of an entrepreneur is a problem solver. That is our job. And it's not just a problem to solve of a client to get them the result they want in trade for some monetary gain. It's also problems that you incur every single day in the building and maintaining and running of your own business. I mean, my gosh, sometimes it could be mountainous. And so knowing that that is going on, and you get up the next morning and more of that's on its way, and you see it coming, and you're coming to, your eyes are opening up, you're getting that mad out of them and all that good stuff, the sleep dust, and you're coming to, what is it for you, Clara, that is keeping you driven, that is keeping you like, you know what, I would do anything to succeed. It keeps you motivated, keeps you moving forward every single day, knowing that you have all these wonderful things facing you ahead of you right now as soon as you wake up and get going.
It's great. And we have to talk about mindset, because mindset really is everything. And the reason it's so important is because it is the only thing we can control. We can't control the economy. I can't control my clients or any of those. All I can control is my mindset. My mindset will then control my energy, which then controls my focus, which then will lead to the actions that I take or do not take. So mindset is sort of the domino. And, you bring up the idea that we have to be problem solvers. Well, sometimes even as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we are problem creators, meaning we overcomplicate it and we create the own problems. Part of the mindset shift I have to have, and I encourage people to have, is there are no problems. There are opportunities. There are opportunities to grow, opportunities to serve, opportunities to get better, all of these things. Because if you go out there looking for problems, that is exactly what you're going to find. If you go out there for looking for opportunities and solutions, that is what you will find. To get to the heart of your question of what drives me, people need to understand that their why, first of all, your why is your why. So you need to own it. And there is no one better why than the others. Your why is also going to change over time. So you need to connect with where you are. I will tell you, when I was in my 20s, my why was making money. I wasn't married. I didn't have a kid. I wanted a BMW. It was all about money. And so I did that. Then when I became a mom, it sort of shifted. Then I became a single mom and it shifted again, more about putting food on the table. Now I'm in a place where it's all about legacy. What is it I'm going to leave behind? So knowing that my legacy, on one standpoint, on a day-to-day basis, I am here to motivate and inspire others to greatness daily. Knowing that I have been there. I have been on the bathroom floor, ugly crying, wondering how I was going to not only put food on the table, but wondering why I was even here, feeling like a failure, feeling like an imposter, like a complete and utter joke. I don't want anybody else to feel that way, and nobody has to feel that way. So being able to motivate and inspire them to get clear on how do they define success, and knowing that they can create their own path and do it on their terms. And then from a bigger picture, going back to the fight against human trafficking, I am working with an organization, and we are actually going to be building recovery homes for survivors of human trafficking. And knowing that every day, the money that I make is going to come back and do these things, I have an obligation to get up, because there is somebody else that is struggling today, and I can help them in some little way, whatever it is. What I do today, my social media posts, my phone calls, whatever it is that I do, it's going to change one person, which is then going to have a ripple effect and change the other people. So I don't have the luxury of laying in bed, because if I do that, I'm letting somebody else down that I can help.
Powerful. It's almost like you've spoken from stage before, Clara, as I listen to you.
Yesterday was my first time. So
yeah. Oh my, so many things. It's interesting when you become a speaker yourself, and then when you become an entrepreneur and you've been down the path for a while, the lens that we look at others shifts a little bit. And wow, I was just like, I could tell you are an amazing speaker. I'm not going to go through the details of things I was observing. I'm sure you teach those in great detail. You obviously follow your own teaching. My goodness. And the fact that you just rattled off about 5 key points that everyone, and that's great. I hope the good thing is this is being recorded. And when you come to watch this again, everybody who is either, if you're listening to this on a podcast, come back to the mindbodybusinessshow.com, because there is a past shows section and you can watch this show. And why is that cool? Is because the transcription of the show is moving dynamically beneath the video. So you can read it as well and actually really get it at a deeper level, because you'll want to go revisit this for everything she's just said. I mean, every word out of her mouth so far has been of great value, especially the part about being my brother. That's the best one. But actually, I was the one that brought that up, but I had to get that in there. I was got to have. So, okay, I love this. What is your opinion? What is your philosophy on injecting fun into your life, even when it's a little, you're in the business mode? What is your philosophy on injecting a little brevity, a little fun, as long as it's not, detracting from the end goal, but actually just kind of hitting the pumping the brakes a little bit on the seriousness and saying, let's have a little fun. Let's have a giggle like we just did. What do you feel about that? Is it important to sprinkle that in throughout your day?
It is so important. Laughter really is the best medicine. It brings the endorphins in, it lightens everything. We make life too serious, and life doesn't have to be serious. For most of us, not everyone, but for most of us, what we are doing is not life and death, you know, and we take ourselves too seriously. And when we take ourselves too seriously, again, we're not always being authentic. And don't get me wrong, I'm very serious about what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. And I also know that the human element needs to be there. And we have to laugh at each other. You know, I'm a girl, I grew up with Bugs Bunny cartoons. So, you know, my mom has always told me that sarcasm is my superpower. And I love that. But we have to, you know, it needs to be fun. We're going to enjoy it more. And I think people are going to connect with us when it's fun. Learning can be fun. Mistakes can be fun, you know, all of those things.
And it's like you said, it's about the mindset and how we choose to react to them, because yes, even mistakes can be fun. You say, you look back and laugh at it. Like I have times where, I mean, I make mistakes all the time, but if I have a VA or a teammate make a mistake, I don't jump on them. You know, I say, hey, that happened. You now know that what not to do. And I always say, I make mistakes too. We're all human. I know the most important part to me about my team is their intent, not their perfection, their intent. Did they intend to screw up? I know they didn't.
No.
Are they intending to do the best they absolutely possibly can? I know they are. When they make a mistake, they're okay. I do it all the time. Why? Who am I to bring somebody down over that? Instead, I say, look, don't worry about it. And oftentimes I'll say, I don't even want you to spend the time to go back and correct it, because maybe it was a post on social media that had a wrong word or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. I say, just let it go. And you now know that that's something you probably don't want to repeat in the future. And that's it. We're done.
Exactly. When I'm speaking, so many times there's just little nuances. I was at a speaking event and we had handouts and the staples were on the wrong side of the paper. And the assistant was, oh my gosh, you know, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, listen, if this is the worst thing that happens to us today, we're doing all right. You know, who's going to remember that down the road? Nobody cares. It's a staple. It's not going to impact my speech. It's not like my speech is now going to be ruined because the staple's on the right side instead of the left side.
If anything, it could cause a state change in those individuals to make them more alert and aware and pay more attention to you as you're speaking. I mean, there are so many, I mean, it's all about how we look at things and how we choose to react to them. And that's the beautiful part about success, because literally success is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes to how you decide to react to specifically the tough times that come that feel like they're tough. But if you react in a way that's just, oh my God, woe is me, and this sucks, and I'm never going to get out of this, well, then you're going to stay there. Unless, you know, look, we're human. The emotion needs to happen. Let's get angry. Let's get sad. And then let's get over it as fast as we possibly can. And then decide on what to do to pivot. Like you said, there are no problems. There are only opportunities. I love that, because even when COVID was hitting, toilet paper, you couldn't find it anywhere. I started thinking, what about, hey, I wonder if they make something like a bidet that you can clip on your toilet. Oh my God, they do. And I thought about that too late, because they were selling like hotcakes already, but it was an opportunity. You know, you think a different way. It's like, oh God, the world's coming to an end. Well, how can we make this, help us out, our families, other people? Like, just think about things in a different way. And that didn't happen for me until about the age of 47, when I met my mentor, and he's an NLP certified expert. I am now too. And it changed everything. Mindset was and is the key to your success or lack thereof. Do you agree with that?
100%. And I've seen it firsthand for myself as well. You know, once I started to understand how the mind worked and I decided to do that, I went from being very cynical as a person to, again, very abundant and doing those. And the way that I could best explain it for myself is it almost gave me a sense of surrender. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Being that I travel all the time and I'm at the airport basically every week, you know, I don't get attached to if the planes are late, or I'll get there. It's, and I see everybody all stressed out, and it's like, we'll get there. Again, going back to the intention, everybody wants us to take off. Nobody doesn't want us to take off. So, let's just work together and make the best of it.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I mean, this just happened to me last weekend. I was flying home from St. Louis to Florida, and we're almost on the deck. We're landing, and I'm looking out the side windows. Everything is bright and beautiful, and the storm is coming, but I'm like, I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, the plane pitches up high, and the engines go to afterburner, which they don't have, but they were ramping them up to climb. I'm like, what are they doing? And then for 20 minutes, we don't know what's going on. They started changing course and turning. Oh no, we're in a holding pattern. What's going on? And there was weather over Tampa that we could not land, and we were running out of fuel. They didn't say any of this. They just said, oh, they gave us an announcement. We're going to be landing in Sarasota. We need to refuel, and then we'll try it again. And it was like 16 minutes away to Sarasota. So like, yeah, whatever. Same thing. I was like, my poor wife's waiting in the cell phone lot, you know,
exactly. Wondering, you know, but you get there. And, you know, it's out of your control.
Yeah. And that's it. If it's, you know, only worry, I wouldn't even say worry, be concerned only about those things that you can control. And usually those are, it's no brainers. I mean, they're easy to take care of. When it's out of your control, that's when people go nuts, which I used to as well.
Me too.
Let those things bother me. It's like, you know what? It does. Who does it do any good to? Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
It's just wasted energy that I could focus on something else. I'm like, okay, I get to watch the rest of this movie. I get to read more of this book. I get 20 more minutes to finish the project I was working on. Okay.
Yep. So be it. I ended up getting to know the guy next to me during that time, which wasn't my choice, but it was good. It was fun. I had a good time. He's a good guy. Yes. So that's one thing I noticed you don't do ever. You don't say, and I do it a lot. So that told me you were a very polished, in a good way, a professional, let me put it that way, speaker. You figured that out and really honed that in. And so kudos.
Now it's on my mind, and I'll be saying it for the rest of the show.
I did that with one other person, the same thing, but it's not going to happen to you. You got this. You're going to be perfect all the way through. I know it. You are fantastic. So let's get into that a little more, if we may. And that is, you are a speaker and a trainer, and do you train people to speak as well?
No, I do not. Okay. I, work with them more on strategy. So I work with a lot of organizations. I had a very strong focus of just women. And I found the same thing that you said earlier, that so many men are struggling as well. So I have a mastermind group of women in business. My focus is really on working with companies, regardless of size. So I work with solopreneurs as well as organizations, all about the importance of building a healthy organization. At the end of the day, we all want to make more money. I am just a true believer that the best way to build the bottom line is to focus on building a healthy organization and building your people, because happier people just perform better.
Sweet. I was just going to ask if you'd give us an overview of what you do, and you just nailed it. Thank you. See, that's it. We were twins separated at birth. I'm convinced now. That's it.
We also sort of have the similar colors on our website.
Exactly. See, sis. I knew I had a sister named Clarity or Clara. So, Capano, though, that part's kind of throwing me. I don't know. Well, we were separated, so I guess that happens. So anyway, that website, for those of you listening on podcast right now, is claracapano.com, and that's CLARA, and then CAPANO.com, claracapano.com, and that's where you can go to get a better idea of everything she does. And yeah, if you don't mind, could we go a little deeper and let's bring up, say, a success story that you've had. You don't have to give their name if you don't want to, but what was their issue coming in? What was the journey like for them? Like in the middle, were they still like, gosh, I just don't know if this is for me? And then at the end, what was the outcome that told Clara, I want to do this some more and help more people?
Definitely. I work with a lot of people in the real estate realm and bringing in the leadership teams. And one of the biggest challenges when it comes to working with these is the myth of the independent contractor, because so many of the leadership teams, when they own a real estate company, is we work with realtors who are independent contractors. We can't tell them what to do. And my thought is everybody has a choice. You have to create the overall arc of the vision and the culture that you want to create and invite people to be a part of that culture. You can still set the standards and the expectations. Whether they choose to follow those or not, they are still a part of the team. So laying these out. So by getting them first clear on what is our overall vision and making sure, because many real estate companies have multiple offices, we want to make sure that every office, even though every office might have a different culture, they all have to have the same vision. and bringing that in, because once you have the vision, then you can start to define the culture, and then you can recruit and retain to the culture to make sure we're all going in the same area. So that's the first thing I always do, is I spend a lot of time on helping them get that clarity of vision, because that's really the first step. And then when I work with individuals, it's for themselves. What is their ultimate vision? How do they define success for themselves? Because the vision is really the compass. And without that, we can't create a strategy or a direction if we don't have that clear vision.
Wow. Fantastic. And so for a success story, what did that individual go through from the beginning? Say, Clara, I don't have a vision at all. What do you mean by vision? What does that mean? What is a culture? Is that something you put in a petri dish? I don't get it. What is this stuff?
Yeah. Well, and I think, a lot of it is they realize that they were not necessarily living in alignment, that their vision was a little cloudy. And because of that, you see, when the reason I say, even on my website, clarity is power, it's because when people are not clear, they are confused. Yeah. When people are confused, they do not take action. So what this specific team that I was working with is, once they got the clarity of the vision, they were able to all look at each other and say things such as, wow, we were doing this all wrong. Or, wow, we have a lot of our people that really are not a good fit for our culture. Ooh. So it was an easier checks and balances. Not that they were going to go back and they were going to, chop the axe and get rid of everybody, but they had a clearer guideline of sitting down with them and setting out the expectations, and then having a point of reference to say, from this point forward, are we bringing on? And within about a year, a lot of the people who were not a good fit graciously found a new home to go to, and they were able to create a much stronger culture. And at the end of the day, the productivity for the entire company went up by about 45%.
Wow. And yeah, I'm so glad you have been really using the word culture a lot, because that is so important for a company to succeed. And what does that mean when you're a solopreneur, though? You're a solopreneur and you create a vision, which is important. We all know. What does a solopreneur do to create their own culture when it's just themselves?
Well, we have to go back to the idea that even if we're a solopreneur, we still have an organization, even though it might be an organization of one. And our organization will only be as strong as its weakest link. And if we are the weakest link, that's something we have to look at, because as much as we are the CEO and the mainstay of the organization, we are also an employee, and we will not be able to deliver the right messaging. We will not bring on the right clients when we are building our team, because even solopreneurs have a team, whether they're virtual assistants, strategic partners, everybody has a team. You won't be able to align with the right people to have the proper growth. I know I was confused as a solopreneur, as simple as, I want to help everybody. And doing those, it causes confusion. Yeah. Even as I was promoting, it was like, well, I work with women, but I work with companies, and I do work with men. Everyone's like, well, I don't know who to send you as a client. It causes confusion. So you have to get the clarity for yourself, even as simple as, what are your core values? For me, one of my core values is family. As a single mom, my son's the most important relationship. Having flexibility, having clients that would understand that. So if I had a sick child, or if they had a sick child, we would work with each other. I didn't always have that. I worked with a company before I was an entrepreneur. I worked with a company, family wasn't a core value. Wow. And if I had to leave early to take my son to the doctor, it was a problem.
Yes.
Not on the surface, but the grumbles behind me started. I started to tune out. I didn't want to perform at my optimal level because I didn't feel valued. And it was always something stressful. That's not okay. So it's all right. If I'm not your cup of tea, if you're going to not want to work with me because I stop work at 2:30 in the afternoon to go pick my son up from school, that's cool. There's a lot of other people out there that can help you.
Yes. And that comes down, that's a great segue into this thing called the scarcity mindset, where some people think they're stuck wherever they are because they were lucky just to get that position, or they were lucky to get the people in their team that they have. And it's the thing is, there are many things you can do today, even especially today, where we have this potential to work virtually. If we want to be an employee, you have more options. You can work from home. You can visit the facility for the first 2 weeks and get to know everybody, and then go home and work on Zoom the rest of the time. So there's so many more options now, and it's really been freeing. I look at the positives of what happened, because the results of that is many more people can be at home and take care of their kids if they need to in real time. And it changed the whole dynamic of the work environment in many areas, in many companies. And I think for the better, because it enables people to work with less stress and often become more productive, not less. The refrigerator's there, the TV's there, but people want to keep their job. They know they need to work the hours that they were supposed to work. So I think it works out. I have not heard of any stories where it has been a dismal failure. And if it has, it's probably most likely due to the culture not being where it should be.
It is. And I'm glad that you bring that up. That is a big part of what I work on right now, is the engagement. With the remote working, as leaders, we have to make sure that we still have a way to maintain the culture. So that's something that I work with a lot, is if you are having meetings on Zoom, simple things such as you must have your camera on, having breakout sessions so people still get to connect. You can still do a lot of interaction, because with technology, we still never want to lose that human element, because that is really what builds the culture. So I do think there are so many positives. We also just have to make sure that we are enhancing the experience and making sure that we are maintaining relationships.
Yeah. And there's so many wonderful different ways to do that. Like, let's say someone has a VA that works in a different time zone. One things I figured out, mine have a great overlap. So I rarely don't have them available during my workday, but there are times where I'm working later. A lot of times, because I love it. But there'll be times where they're not anywhere around, which I'm glad. They should cut off for the night. And I will just shoot Loom videos and record the screen. And that's the best. I found the absolute best way to communicate with people that you cannot communicate with in real time. I mean, I used to do this long years before Loom or any of that became in existence. Camtasia was out years and years ago. I used to record videos, upload them to my YouTube channel, mark them as private, and send them to support personnel or team to do everything through video. I found I got the results 10 times faster, because you can put so much description in a video with your voice and with a picture at the same time, like at least 20 times more information than in the same amount of time of typing and doing screenshots. It's just, it's a godsend.
It really is. And again, you and I would never have known we were long lost siblings without technology. So building relationships, and there are so many blessings that come with technology. We just don't want to hide behind it, because our culture is really one of our strongest assets. And we have to maintain the integrity of that culture, because that is really what attracts people to want to work with us. And that's also what helps us retain good people, because you probably know this from being in the business world. Retention is huge. Turnover is a huge cost to a company, to an organization. So when we get good people, we have to maintain that we are working on what we call our ROA, our return on appreciation, and valuing who we have.
Ooh, I like that one. ROA. I've never heard that before. That is a good one. CLARATY. I love it all. So got me thinking about several things. Yeah. So I'm just thinking of, trying to mirror this and say, what have I done for culture? I'm very pro family. I've had VAs call in or WhatsApp in and say, my uncle is in the hospital. It's like, take care of that. This can wait as long as you need. Don't worry about it for a second.
Well, it's all the little things too. It's a handwritten note that you can do for them. Knowing how is it that they want appreciation. Sometimes it's giving them a high five. Sometimes it's giving them a hug, bringing them a coffee, giving them and saying, you've been working. One of the things that a company that I worked with did is they got rid of, say, time clocks. They said, you know what? We know you're working even when you're not here. You take a day off when you need to take a day off. They got rid of the whole, you've been here X amount of years, you get 3 weeks of vacation. They're like, don't take advantage of it. They trusted us to not take advantage of it. And they said, if it's Friday and you have your work done, cut out. If it's cool and you're covered, go take a half a day off, because we know you're going to be doing something over the weekend. So just little things like that, and showing, again, empowering them. None of this micromanaging. And all of those
Yes.
things are ways that you can help the culture. It's not just, see, corporate wellness is different than corporate health. And corporate wellness is part of a healthy organization. It's also communication, creating trust, again, empowering your people, building growth, clarifying the future so people, again, have confidence. All of those things are part of organizational wellness.
Oh my gosh, you hit on so many wonderful things, like empowering them instead of micromanaging them. And that is probably one of the most, I don't, you could probably be better to tell me this, but I would imagine that's one of the most difficult things, predominantly difficult across the board of every leader out there, because that involves getting rid of one's ego. Because
Mhm.
you can't do it the way I do it. And that is going to mean it's going to be the wrong way. Right. And that's what we're saying to
Absolutely.
ourselves. I learned the exact opposite, and it
Too.
took a while to get there. I learned that if I let go, I say minimal instruction, use the branding colors, use this, do that. And you know what? Let me just see what kind of creative genius you come up with, and give them that empowering liftoff. And I'll tell you, Clara, I mean, I can't remember. I just can't remember a time when they came back and the result was disappointing. It was night and day from what I would have done, which I think made it better, because
Mhm.
I have the lens of the owner, which is not always the lens you want to be working from. It's often not the lens you want to be working from
Well,
when you're
again,
creating the
as a
minutia.
leader, you aren't supposed to be the smartest one in every room.
There
If
you
if
go.
I hire someone in marketing, my intention is they're going to be exceptional in marketing because I am not. So let them do their magic, because
Yeah.
that's their area of genius. And when we do that, check in with them. This is why the vision is so important, because if I do a great job of explaining and sharing the vision, they will get it, and their work will
Reflective.
reflect the
Yes.
vision in the right way.
Yes. So many wonderful things. I praise my people on Zoom in front of other people with, and I mean it. This isn't just, fake stuff. I always say, this is my superstar VA. And I only do that if there's no other VAs on at the same time. So I don't want to alienate anybody, but always lift them up. I never really have had a need to discipline anybody because of the culture of what I just said before. If you made a mistake, then move on. It's cool. I know your intent was awesome. Let's just keep moving forward. You're doing great. Everything else is fine. And that I think that just takes a lot of the worry and stress out of their day to day. They're not looking over their shoulder. I've been in those situations where there's someone breathing on you and watching your every step. I'm like, get away. Let me do something here.
Horrible. It is
Yeah.
horrible. It stresses you out. It makes you second guess, and it just diminishes confidence.
That's it right there. That's
Mhm.
it. Confidence, the big C. And that is one of the biggest keys to becoming successful if you're an entrepreneur, is to establish that level of confidence that comes only with experience, but also not being micromanaged for years on end by someone else who
Mhm.
thinks they're better than you, or just wants to do that to give that illusion that they are better than you, or whatever the reason is. It doesn't matter. It's just, don't micromanage if you're a leader. Just knock it off.
Yes,
It's counterproductive. It doesn't
it
do
really
anybody
is.
any good. Let
No.
go and be good with it. Let go and see what beautiful things they will create that you had no idea they even had in their beautiful mind. And then, sure, you're going to make little adjustments. That's okay. It doesn't mean it has to be perfect. Your first one won't be perfect either, I'll guarantee you. So,
Mhm.
not talking about you, Clara, but everyone in general.
Well, absolutely. That's the name of the game. It's growth.
You are a breath of fresh air. This is, I'm so, in so many
That
ways.
is so funny. You are the fourth person that has said that to me in the last like 3 days.
I think you
Oh
planted it in my head. You said it earlier, but you are
my
definitely that.
Thank you.
And of course, being my sister by another
I know.
mister from
I
long,
know.
long, many years ago. My gosh, for some reason, yours less years ago than mine. I don't know how that worked, but pretty cool. Walked into a time warp somewhere in
Somewhere
between.
there.
Oh my goodness, is that right? I'm looking at the clock. That is a sign that I'm having a blast. I hope everyone watching and listening are too. Clara is smiling ear to ear all the time. I love working with people like you, Clara. You have a wonderful, just sparkle and energy about you that is very attractive to people to work with you. So I say all that to let people know. I got to talk to Clara before the show, and she was authentic, as she is now. What you see now is what you'll get later. And I can tell she has that, she has that inner knowledge and experience that she will also probably give you a smack if you're going in the wrong direction, a verbal one, a loving one to get you in the right direction. But if you're not doing and you're not being accountable to what she's asking you to do, I have a feeling she's going to give you that tough love that you need to get to the bottom line is, do you want the results or do you want to be coddled?
Exactly.
And coddling never gets you the results, ever. So get somebody who has the toughness and the willingness to love you enough to give you the hard corrections, that to have that hard talk, that difficult, maybe, that may come off as, oh, I had this happen to me, Clara. I mean, the most brutal feedback I got, I darn near quit one position because I'm like, damn, did you really need to bring it on that heavy? And then I got a day to think about it. Thought, they're my friends. They love me and they're just doing nothing to help me. Why am I getting all into myself, you big baby? Get back in there and go to work. And oh my God, what a great decision, because things just took off from there.
And that's where you have to build trust with your people.
Yes.
When we have that mutual trust, we can go to each other and say, listen, this isn't getting done, or what's happening here? Because again, it's the intent. You know, you came to me, I'm coming to you. It's like we're here with each other. We both want the best results. If one of us isn't performing, don't we owe it to each other to talk about it? Again, not from a place of being mean. It's coming from that place of love because we know they can do better.
Ooh, very good. Yeah. And that's how you can frame it. It's like, look, I know you are capable of much better. You are an amazing person. Is there something going on like in your life that, and it's cool. You can talk to me. It's all right. If it's too private, you don't have to, but you can just let me know, yes or no, something's going on, because I see something changed and I know you can, you have the abilities that go above and beyond anyone else I've seen, blah, blah, blah. And, it doesn't have to be a horrible negative conversation.
No.
But you do have to sprinkle in the shift that needs to occur somehow, some way. And then, hey, sometimes the direct method actually does work. It stings for a little bit, but when they figure out that you were doing it with love because of your intent, again, like me, they'll wake up and come back and go, thank you for that horrific feedback. It's going to help me get better faster. And it did. And I got to the point, Clara, they did this every time I spoke when I got feedback on the stage. This was my growth period of speaking from stage. And after the first couple of times when the sting hit and I figured it out and got over it, I couldn't wait to get the next session of feedback. In fact, when there was a main guy that did the feedback, he would be in the back of the room. You can see everything from stage. People don't realize you can see everyone, no matter how big this room is. And he's all the way in the back of the table. And I'd be saying something from stage and I'd see out of my peripheral, he does this, raises his pen and starts writing. And like, I'm up on the stage going, oh crap, what did I just do wrong? In the middle of trying to, and it went well. And I thought, if he wasn't there, and there were times where he couldn't make it, I felt slighted. I wanted the feedback because it catapulted me every single time. Anyway, so the stuff that doesn't feel so great is often the things that will get you the greatest difference or change toward your goal. It's
medicine. The medicine may not take great, but it's there to make you healthy.
I love you said laughter is the best medicine. It's still, was that a Reader's Digest?
Probably. No, I created it all on my own.
I'm thinking, is Reader's Digest still even being printed? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I remember my mom had them later around the house.
Ourselves, Brian.
Well, I'm much longer in the tooth than you are, so everyone can know that. So Clara is a young'un over here. I just remember she had them all over the house. That was my favorite. I would look for laughter the best medicine. I was always reading the little jokes. There were little 1-paragraph jokes throughout there, and I was like, okay, do we have any more? That was quick. I want to see some more. There were two. There was another section. Anyway, it was fun. Reader's Digest. Wow, a little bitty. They called it a magazine. It was like a miniature book. It was interesting. All right. My goodness. Oh, we have a gift to give you. We actually have 2 gifts to give you. If you're watching live right now, you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Now, listen, this is not one of those crazy things where you land, you end up in the hotel, they take you down to the basement, they strap you in a chair, and they water drip torture you into buying a timeshare. It does not happen that way. No, it is the exact opposite. In fact, they have no clue that you won anything. They think you are just another full-paying guest. How do I know that? I know an individual who's gone to this twice, who has won it twice, and said each time it was unbelievable. You get to choose from resorts from all over the world. There are many that you get to choose from. All you have to do is supply the travel to and from. Your stay is covered by us. Is that pretty awesome or what?
That's amazing.
So, and I'm not kidding when I say this, Clara. Guest experts, that means you, are eligible to enter to win. So you'll want to write down the information too. I have had guest experts win. It's a random draw.
My man.
I think there is not a single person watching that wouldn't agree with me to say, well, Clara doesn't deserve to win. Are you kidding? She deserves to win more than anybody. She's just spent an hour with me. Yeah. She got grilled for an hour by Brian. Come on. So that's coming. Clara has a gift she's going to be giving. That's coming. We only have a few minutes left. We got a lot coming your way in a little bit of time. And then, Clara, we are going to end this show with a one heck of a doozy of a question.
Okay.
And it's something that I was asking, this show's been going a little over 5 years. So in the early stages, I would ask on occasion this one question. And I started realizing after a while, like, wow, that was one heck of a profound answer. And then I'd ask it again later, a few shows later. Holy smokes, that was another profound. You know what? That's it. I'm going to end every show with this question because that's a great way to end every night. And it's so profound. And it's not the question that's profound. It's the answers. It's amazing. Before we do that, we're going to give away a couple great prizes. You know what? Let's go ladies first, if you don't mind. You have this wonderful thing called a productivity assessment that you are giving away. And I appreciate that greatly. And let's bring it up on the screen so people can see it. And then let you, Clara, take it away and let people know exactly what they are getting for absolutely nothing.
Well, again, it's about the clarity. Let's get an assessment on where we are right now. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. And so this little assessment will just sort of ask you a few questions and sort of let you know where you are, give you some thought processes to see if you might need some help and some structure to help you increase your focus so you can be more productive.
Oh, and what a great free gift to give somebody. About how long does it take for someone to fill out the assessment?
Maybe 3 minutes.
Whoa. Okay. I think I'll be doing that. So fantastic. In fact, let's do it in real time. Why not? Would that be okay?
That's fine.
All right. I have a shortcut to put all my info in there. And that's going to be emailed to me. So fantastic. I can't wait to see that and how that works. And that's the other thing I always tell people is, follow somebody that's successful. Oh, down here now, like Clara, and actually look at what they do and how they do it. Like what I just did, the website, she has a form to give you an assessment. What is genius about that? Instead of just going straight to some PDF or whatever the assessment is, I don't know yet, instead of just giving it to you right then and there, she says, check your email. Why is that genius? Because a lot of people will give you a bogus email just to get through the next step. And if they give you a bogus email, they're not going to get the assessment. And they'll go, crud, now they got to go back and give you the real one. So kudos. Good job. So these little things you start noticing and start adjusting on your own approach rather than just say, here you go. Sometimes it makes sense to do that, but this was great. So the website to get this assessment is claracapano.com/productivity -assessment. So it's claracapano.com/ and then the word productivity, all lowercase, very important. The last part is all lowercase, productivity -assessment. Assessment has 4 S's in it, just so you remember. ASSESSMENT. If you are listening to this on podcast, the best thing for you to do would be come on over to the mindbodybusinessshow.com, go to past shows, and you can just fast forward to near the end of the show and you'll see it. And you'll see it being read on the teleprompter like text as well as we go through the transcription. So there it is, claracapano.com/productivity -assessment. Go get your assessment. What is the best way for folks to get in touch with you, Clara, before I give away the other free gift real quick?
Absolutely. You can just go to the website, claracapano.com. There is a contact me button, so you'll have that. I also am on all the socials. I'm primarily on LinkedIn and just under my name, Clara Capano.
And you have an email address. Are you cool with giving that out? Or
I am. It is clara@claracapano.com.
Go figure.
I know.
My gosh, I have Brian at brianckelly.com. This is crazy. What's going on here, Clara? Sister by another mister. I'm telling you, it's true. All right. For everyone that's now going, holy moly, let's get to the free giveaway, the travel. You know what? Look, I think what Clara is giving you, the assessment, will give you more value in long term, because you're taking steps, stacking those pebbles toward building your empire, which is very important. It's also important to go take a break and go on vacation. And so with that, this is how you enter to win. Remember, write this down and then visit the URL after we say goodnight, after we're done, not now. We will be watching and we will be putting you into the random draw. So do not worry about that. Please write this down. Look, I talk about writing it down, and I'm running this whole thing. I've got a whole page of notes from our show today. So I don't ever ask anybody to do something I am not myself willing to do. So write it down and then go to it right after we say goodnight for the end of the show. And that is going to be on the screen right now. There it is. So you want to write this down. The URL that you want to go to on your website is, or in your web browser, is ryp.im/vacation, ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. Go there, enter to win. It's just a quick form, and we will do a random draw. And hey, we hope you're the winner. You never know. It could be Clara. And
it might be. It might be.
Don't feel bad if it is, because she deserves
I
it.
will not. I will
not. That's awesome. Oh, all right. So this final question, we're going a little bit long. I hope everyone's cool with that. But we're almost there. So Clara, there's a couple great things about this question. Number one is there is no such thing as a wrong answer.
Okay.
It's not a quiz. It's not a test. And in fact, the other part of it that's cool is that it's the exact opposite. The only correct answer is yours.
Perfect.
And that is the same whether it takes you a microsecond or if it takes you several seconds to formulate the response. Even then, it is 100% perfect. Why? Because again, it's your answer. So there's absolutely no stress, except for the fact that you're going, what the heck is this question already? The buildup always gets them. And it's amazing. And oh, I do want to mention this. Sometimes I forget. And that is, I am going to be taking these responses and I'm going to be putting several of them in a collaborative book. So the actual title of the book is going to be The Question Itself. And a lot of you will be in here. So I say that to say, if you're going to give a 2-sentence answer, that'll be 1 page with a lot of blank stuff on it. So you may want to elaborate as much as feel free to elaborate. Let me put it that way. All right. With all that, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Woo, I love it. I knew you would be. Clara Capano, how do you define success?
Love this question. And I have done a lot of work on this. Early in my life, success was all about checking off the boxes. You know, do I have the big house on the golf course and the fancy car and all of those things? What I have done now is I have redefined success, and it comes down to 3 simple things. At the end of the day, I ask myself 3 questions. Did I show love today? Did I inspire today? And did I contribute positively to the world today? If I can say yes to those 3 things, it was a successful day. I lead with value. I lead with love. And I am here to inspire others. And if I can do all of those things and just make a tiny little contribution, that's success.
I love this. Gosh, I just so love what I get to do because of people like you, Clara. Here's the other fun fact about this. Now doing this for, I don't know, I haven't gone back and seen how many years I've closed the show out with this question. But I do know for a fact that even your question, that with your answer, no 2 people yet have answered it the same way. Is that remarkable? That's why I think a book is in order. And the cool thing, you kind of alluded to it. What was success to you in younger years is not what success means to you today. It's a living, breathing, ever-changing definition that we give ourselves for the word success. And that's what I love, because 10 years from now, you're going to look back and go, you know what? I can revise that again. And at this moment, like, I know what I think success, how I define it. I'm like, I don't know how I could change it, but I'll guarantee you about 10 years, there'll be a way to do it.
I should have said success is winning a free trip to go to the resort.
You just did. You just did. You're putting it out there.
There we go.
Yeah, don't forget, everyone, to enter to win. One more time, I'm going to give 2 web addresses before we close out. ryp.im/vacation to enter to win this amazing vacation stay. And then we have Clara's gift, which is go to claracapano.com/productivity-assessment. Go to that URL, write it down so you have it. If you need this, you'll come back to our website, themindbodybusinessshow.com, and you'll see it under past shows in about a day or two. You can go back there if you did not get to writing any of this down, and you can get it that way as well. We're on podcasts all over the place, like too many to mention. I think 40 different podcast platforms to go along with this live venue. So appreciate you, Clara. And do you have one last parting word of advice for a entrepreneur who might be struggling right now?
Struggles are a part of life. And what we have to do is we have to remember that success lies in our struggles. You know, think about a butterfly. When they're coming out of the cocoon, that little caterpillar is metamorphosizing, it's struggling. We have to have that struggle. That's how we grow stronger. So just know your struggles are teaching you how to soar.
You had me at metamorphosizing. Good God, I don't know if I could even say that right. Fantastic advice. Please, everyone, before we say goodnight for the evening, I would ask and implore of you all of you watching, all you listening, to do just two things. I only ask for two. One is go out and do what you have to do to crush it in your business. Why? Because then you can be like Clara and serve more people. What does that mean? Help more people. And then number two, oh my goodness, above all else, to a person, everyone, please be blessed. That is it for us tonight. On behalf of the amazing Clara Capano, I'm your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We will see you again very, very soon. Don't forget to go to mindbodybusinessshow.com and click the button and register so you know the moment we go live again, you can engage with us there as well. Clara, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you hopefully soon as well.
Love it.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great, great evening. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.